Mwananchi side than his own side. But then the question about where does this place Matiangi? First of all, Jigero, the process that is scientific will be able to favor Matiangi, and he knows that. Because during a scientific process, people put together their thought process and they want to attempt to be objective. Now, when people want to attempt to be objective, even those opposition people, there is a question they cannot answer. Those ones who would want to say Kalonzo fear that you can ask them why. Mm-hmm. And they know that when you ask them why, they don't have the answer. So the most convenient person to be able to say in a statistic is Matiangi. Because the answer, there can be an answer to the question of why. But the problem is that it does not necessarily mean that these people who answer you and give you this scientific-based approach that provides this candidate are also willing to vote that candidate at the end of the day. Number two, Matiangi is highly not favored by his own mistakes that he has made. Number one, he came in and disadvantaged himself by being a presidential candidate who is not a party leader. Now that places him at a place where he is the candidate, but he's not the negotiator, because the negotiator has to be a party leader. And when he locked himself into this box, he found himself with a party leader who is party leader of two parties. He's the party leader of the Jubilee Party, and he's also the one leading Azimio, and he has also endorsed a candidate in Azimio. Because rightfully, as Odhiambo puts it, the constitution of Azimio says that the one who is the party leader is the presidential candidate. So you have your party leader who has said you are the candidate, but this your party leader is also the chairman of Azimio, who has also said that Kalonzo is now the party leader of Azimio. So essentially it goes without saying that Matiangi in this race is being locked out, and is being locked out for one fundamental reason: that these big boys do not believe that he deserves a place on that table. They consider him inexperienced. They consider him not a politician. And so, for the very first time, the card that Kalonzo has been using since 2002 might pay off in 2027.
Which is?
Which is that I am the oldest. Because Kalonzo's card since 2002 has always been that he's supposed to be the candidate for one reason: I am the most experienced. I'm the one who has served longer. So for once, there looks like these elders on this table seem to want to, they want to deal with someone they understand. They are not able, the big boys are not able to foresee what a Matiangi president can look like. They are not able to see it. But then the younger people within this coalition are the ones who are so interested in science, because science will favor them. The ones who want to think, the Munyas and whatever. They know that when they go at the table of the big boys, when they sit with President Uhuru Kenyatta, when he sits on the table, he can say, okay, finally, this is what I have said. And none of them can raise any voice around that, because then one of the attributes of power is that power is by dominance. Mm-hmm. So by dominance, when on that table, Uhuru dominates all of them, and therefore his decision goes. And so I believe that the process and the formula of choosing these candidates is going to be problematic. But what I foresee is a situation whereby they will end up with a candidate, yes, but there will be a faction that will splinter from them. And then we will be able to have two candidates from that same opposition.
Did you talk to Odhiambo before the interview?
Not really. Did Odhiambo say the same thing?
Yes.
Bright people think alike. So they will actually end up with a splinter. And it will not be a splinter that is pegged on a strategic reason. It will be a splinter that is pegged on anger. Mm-hmm. Now, if it's a splinter that is pegged on anger, then the end result of that election will only be one: that at the end of the day, none of the candidates will achieve 50+1. Mm-hmm. Okay? And because the splinter here will have been pegged on anger, they will be out to outdo their colleagues in the opposition more than to outdo President Ruto. And the most likely person they will join in that place will then be President Ruto, because President Ruto will have something better to offer. He'll be offering 5 years. The other team will be going 10 years. So as a strategic person who wants to become president, you don't join a president who is starting off. You join a president who is finishing. And so this splinter team that is going to come out of the opposition is going to support the re-election of President Ruto after the failure to achieve 50+1. And that is how they will be part of the next administration, where they will now start building their blocks.
They can build consensus.
And now nurturing their ambitions. They can negotiate for positions. They can now poke holes in the 50% that ODM wants and all that. Because at that time, they will be the most important element of the election. Once we cross the voting process, there will be now, the stories of zoning will now not exist. Those who will have lost will have lost. Those who will have come in have now come in. And then they will no longer be important. The important person will be this third force that is needed to add on to this to create a 50+1. And that is where the splinter that is going to come from the opposition is going to join President William Ruto. And that is how, alas, in 2028, is it not 2028, in 2027 September, at Kasarani, once again, the country will swear in President William Ruto with now a working consensus and another, what is the name of this one called? This one is a broad-based government. There will now be another adjective to describe the new government that we will be having at that time, that will now be having the splinter that will have come out of the opposition.